September is coming and FEMA chose it for a very specific reason. It sits right in the middle of peak Atlantic hurricane season. And right now, most households in this country are not ready for even a 3-day disruption. Not even close. According to FEMA's own survey data, only about half of American households have taken even 3 basic preparedness actions. That means roughly half the country is one bad storm, one grid failure, or 1 week of chaos away from scrambling for things they should have had sitting in a closet. This video is about the 9 specific items FEMA has consistently flagged as essential for every home. Not a prepper list, not a $1,000 bunker kit. 9 things, most of which cost less than a dinner out, that cover the actual gaps most families have right now. FEMA recommends that every American household maintain a ready-to-go kit, because after a major disaster, emergency responders may not reach you for several days. That is the part people always underestimate. The assumption is that help is coming quickly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And the window between those 2 outcomes is exactly what this list covers. We are counting down 9 items. By the end, you will know what to buy, why each one matters more than it looks. And there is one item near the end of this list that almost nobody thinks about until it is too late. Keep watching for that one. Number 9. Non-perishable food and the format you are storing it in. FEMA recommends at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food per person. Canned goods, protein bars, dry cereal, nut butter. That part most people know. Here is what they get wrong. They buy a few cans, toss them in a kitchen cabinet, and call it done. The problem is that a random assortment of canned goods with no rotation schedule, no can opener nearby, and no thought given to actual calorie density is not a food supply. It is just clutter with an expiration date. Pack at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable food for every person in your household, and choose items that require no refrigeration, cooking, or water to prepare. That last part is the key most people miss. If the power is out and your water supply is compromised, a food that needs boiling is not a useful food. Think peanut butter, crackers, canned fish, shelf-stable protein bars. Things your family will actually eat, that need nothing to prepare. Box it, date it, and put it somewhere you can grab it fast. Number 8. A manual can opener. This sounds almost too simple to mention, and that is exactly why it makes the list. A manual can opener is on FEMA's official checklist specifically for your canned food. And yet the number of households that have a drawer full of canned goods and 0 manual can openers is genuinely surprising. Electric can openers stop working the second the power goes out. Your phone dies, your router is down, but a $6 manual can opener from any grocery store keeps working indefinitely. It requires no batteries, no charging, no signal. It is one of the highest value per dollar items on this entire list and one of the most commonly missing. Buy one, put it with your food supply, and do not move it. Number 7. Water, but stored the right way. Water is the single most critical item in any emergency kit. The human body can survive weeks without food, but only about 3 days without water. Store at least 1 gallon per person per day for drinking and basic sanitation needs. For a family of 4, that is a minimum of 12 gallons for 3 days. Most people have 0 gallons stored. They are planning to use tap water if something goes wrong, which works fine right up until the moment the tap stops working. And in a lot of disaster scenarios, that happens within the first few hours. Ready.gov recommends at least 1 gallon per person per day for 3 days. But many emergency managers now advise keeping a 7-day supply, because modern outages can last longer in certain regions. 7 days for a family of 4 is 28 gallons. That sounds like a lot until you realize you can store it in 2 or 3 stackable food-grade water containers that cost about $15 each at any big box store. The math on this one is simple. Buy the containers, fill them, done. Number 6. A first aid kit. A real one, not the travel size box. When professional medical help is delayed, your first aid kit becomes your frontline defense against injuries. And in a real emergency, help can be delayed by hours, sometimes longer. Your kit should include adhesive bandages in multiple sizes, sterile gauze pads, medical tape, antiseptic wipes, antibiotic ointment, pain relievers, antihistamines, anti-diarrhea medication, gloves, scissors, tweezers, and a CPR pocket mask. The little plastic box with 5 bandages and a packet of aspirin that most people have under their bathroom sink is not a first aid kit. It is a cosmetic fix for a paper cut. A real kit handles cuts, burns, sprains, allergic reactions, and basic trauma. You can get a solid one for $30 to $50, and it covers almost everything on that list. There is something else here that goes with this item, and it is the one thing on this list almost nobody thinks about until it is too late. I will get to it. Keep watching. Number 5. Prescription medications and a 7-day backup supply. About half of all Americans take a prescription medicine every day. An emergency can make it difficult to refill a prescription or find an open pharmacy. Organize and protect your prescriptions, over-the-counter drugs, and vitamins to prepare for an emergency. This is the gap that turns a manageable situation into a medical crisis. Think about what happens when a major storm shuts down your area for 5 or 6 days. The pharmacy is closed. Your normal refill schedule is disrupted. If you take blood pressure medication, a diabetes medication, or anything your body depends on daily, running out is not an inconvenience. It is a health emergency on top of whatever emergency you are already dealing with. Include a 7 to 14-day supply of prescription medications in your emergency kit. Talk to your doctor about getting a small emergency supply. Keep it rotated. Know where it is. This is the item I mentioned earlier, the one that almost never makes it onto a casual preparedness list, but that emergency responders consistently say causes the most serious secondary problems after a disaster. Number 4. A flashlight, specifically one per person, with extra batteries. Your emergency kit should include LED flashlights, one per family member with extra batteries. The reason you want one per person is simple. In a real emergency, people split up. You are checking the basement. Your spouse is with the kids. Someone else is outside. One flashlight for the whole house means someone is navigating in the dark, and that is how people get hurt. LED flashlights are cheap. They last a long time, and the difference between a $5 one and a $20 one is mostly brightness and durability. Either works. Having them is what matters. The days of relying on dim incandescent flashlights are over. Modern emergency lighting revolves around efficiency and versatility. Lithium-ion rechargeable lanterns are now the standard, often featuring built-in solar panels for daytime charging. If you want to upgrade beyond the basics, a solar rechargeable lantern covers the whole room, charges during the day, and some models double as a phone charger. But even a basic LED flashlight per person, with a set of spare batteries stored right next to it, puts you ahead of most households. Number 3. A hand crank or battery-powered NOAA weather radio. This is where things get genuinely important, and most people skip it because they assume their phone covers it. FEMA specifically lists a battery-powered or hand crank radio with NOAA weather radio tone alert as an essential kit item. Here is why your phone is not a substitute. When a major disaster hits, cell towers get overwhelmed within minutes. Data stops loading. Emergency alerts sometimes come through, sometimes don't. Meanwhile, NOAA weather radio broadcasts continuously on dedicated frequencies that do not depend on cell infrastructure at all. A radio like the Midland ER310 receives all NOAA frequencies, charges via solar panel, hand crank or USB, and doubles as a backup battery bank for your phone. It also includes an SOS beacon flashlight. One device covers communication, charging, and signaling. And, in a regional disaster, local ham operators are often the first to relay accurate information when official channels are overwhelmed. A radio that receives those frequencies gives you access to information that most people around you simply will not have. That information gap, knowing what is happening and where to go, is sometimes the most valuable thing you can have. Number 2. Plastic sheeting, duct tape, and a dust mask. Stay with me here because this combination sounds odd until you understand what it actually does. A dust mask is for filtering contaminated air, and plastic sheeting with duct tape is for creating a sealed shelter-in-place area. Shelter-in-place is exactly what it sounds like, staying inside your home and sealing it off from the outside environment. It is the protocol for chemical spills, industrial accidents, wildfire smoke, and certain airborne hazards. Air quality emergencies are more common than people realize. Smoke from wildfires drifts across states. Industrial accidents release airborne particles. The ability to seal a room, cover the windows, seal the door gaps, filter the air you are breathing, can make a serious difference in a short-duration airborne event. The materials cost almost nothing. A roll of plastic sheeting, a roll of duct tape, and a pack of N95 masks run maybe $20 total. And when you need them immediately. There is no time to run to a hardware store when the air outside is already compromised. Number 1. Waterproof copies of your important documents, plus cash. This is the one that surprises people most. Prepare physical copies of your important documents, government-issued IDs, passports, in a waterproof, fireproof container. Keep cash in small denominations, since ATMs and card readers will not work during power outages. Think about what you actually need to function after a disaster. You need to prove who you are to access emergency services. You need to file an insurance claim. You need to rent a hotel room or buy supplies somewhere outside the affected area. All of that requires ID, insurance documents, and cash. $200 to $500 in small bills is the recommended amount, because ATMs and card readers will not work during power outages. Your phone pay does not work. Your card does not work. Cash does. A waterproof bag with your ID, insurance policy numbers, medical records summary, and a few $100s in small bills is the difference between being able to move and being stuck. It costs almost nothing to put together, and almost nobody has it ready. Here's where we are. 9 items. Non-perishable food in a usable format. A manual can opener. Water stored properly. A real first aid kit. A backup supply of your prescriptions. A flashlight per person with extra batteries. A hand-crank NOAA radio. Plastic sheeting, duct tape, and dust masks for shelter in place. And waterproof documents with cash. Disaster Preparedness Month runs throughout September 2026, and the reason FEMA pushes this every year is not to cause panic. FEMA has developed a clear, evidence-based disaster supplies checklist of what every American should have on hand to survive at least 72 hours during a disaster. And this isn't just for people living in high-risk areas. Electricity, water, food supply, or communications disruptions can happen anywhere, anytime. You came into this video probably knowing you should have some of this stuff. What changed is now you know exactly which items matter most, why each one does what it does, and what it actually costs you to not have them. Most of this list can be assembled in a single afternoon for under $150. The version of you that has this ready is in a completely different position than the version that doesn't. If this was useful, drop a comment telling me which item you are adding to your kit first. It genuinely helps the channel and I read them. There is a video right here that goes deeper on water storage specifically, because the format you store water in matters more than most people realize. That one is worth your time before September gets here.